All right, good morning, traders. Today is, yes, it's July 1st. Rabbit. All right, let's go take a look at some charts today. Thank you for being here, everybody out there. Good morning, and thank you for being here. Everybody, my name is John Carignan. I'm the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everybody in podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Thank you so much for subscribing to my content, following my journey. Thank you for being a part of the BYOB experience. Again, I try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day so that traders can find success. All right, so my SPY pivot this morning, 616.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. All of the Fab 5 in daily uptrends. Yes, all of the Fab 5 in daily uptrends. All except IWM made higher lows and higher highs, closing over their bullish traps and over their 17 EMAs. IWM happened to make an inside day, closing over a bullish trap and over the 17. SPY closed 2-hour uptrend, 10-minute uptrend. Gold's in a new downtrend. Well, it's in a downtrend now, okay? Gold made a higher high and a higher low, closing inside a bearish trap under the 17. Silver's still in an uptrend on the daily chart, made an inside day, closing under a bearish trap, but over the 17 EMA. USO in a daily uptrend still. USO made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17 EMA. UNG in a daily downtrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. US dollar index still in a downtrend. Hey, we love that. Not as consumers, but as investors and traders. Closed near the 96.82 area. Supposedly, SPY max pain today is 610 with a put-to-call ratio of about 1.5 puts to each call that expires today at 4:15. All right, that's the indexes that expire at 4:15. All right, we got a few of them that are got starred today here. We'll take a look at them. You can see FLR, ASTS, EVLV, and FIV. Let's take a peek at those real quick. To see what they look like on the daily chart. Okay, here's FIVE. FIVE kind of ramping up, kind of cupping, coming up back towards those highs. So it's got that grinder box breakout look. All right, maybe setting up. I'm seeing higher lows right through here. Usually you see this just before a big rip to the upside. We'll see what happens. That's FIVE, all right, with the grinder box possible breakout right there. Next one up here, EVLV. I know a lot of people don't look at the bottom of the chart. EVLV, look at this 5-day hold right there. Usually after a nice 5-day hold, look at this. Higher lows all the way up to the 5-day hold. We could see a breakout to the upside maybe today or tomorrow. We'll see what happens. EVLV consolidating at the highs right there. EVLV, just something, another little grinder box breakout. Up over, look at this, it's over resistance. Okay, so we're on top of support. That makes a nice little grinder box breakout up there. FIVE didn't have any good options. Yes, yeah, sometimes they don't. I didn't look at the options, but I did look at the chart in with the higher lows going up there. Sarah says she got ENLV. Okay, I got EVLV up here. Maybe it's a misprint on your part. I don't know. She got HTGC yesterday and been holding FLR for a couple of weeks. Yeah. All right. So she got some of this yesterday. All right, with a little gap up there. I think you got one other one that was looking pretty good. I forget which one it was. Joby, right? So Sarah picked up some Joby, which was starred yesterday. Look at Joby with a 1, 2, 3 up there. Price action, nice rip. That was starred on, I think, yesterday's Bulls and Bears. All right, so that's a nice rip for a nice 10% move there. Yeah, you're up on that one. Love that one. Yeah. All right, so we just did EVLV. This is yesterday. Joby ripping out for some new rally highs here. Let's take a look at the next one. ASTS. Not really liking that one, but it is holding right there. It had a 4-day hold. If they can recover this, hopefully they can recover this and bounce back up over it. But that was a nice 4-day hold up there on ASTS. Then the last one is FLR. And I really like FLR. Nice. Look at FLR holding the higher ground. I'm going to tell you, that's one of my favorite characteristics of price action. Whenever I see price action move up and then hold that higher ground, that's really bullish. All right, and FLR's got that going on in trump cards right there. Okay, so nice looking chart. I like it when they make higher lows going into that, and you can see got a higher low, equal low, higher low, equal low. We could see a blast off soon. We'll see. FLR looking really good. Okay, so that's it for all the ones that are starred that I can see. Yeah, I got them all. Let me move this out of the way. And those come off the Bulls and the Bears list at the bottom. All right, so let's get this out of the way. And I want to put that back up there. I don't know where that went. There we go. All right, so let's go take a look at SPY. All right, SPY on the 10-minute chart coming into the close. Look at the price action. Hold the higher ground over the prior day's high. That was holding this. That gave me the courage to buy calls. Lots of calls. Had one of the best days ever yesterday. And able to take this 10-minute uptrend that manifested at the end of the day right there. 10-minute uptrend up into 619, 620 area. I'm expecting we got a 10-minute uptrend today. Yesterday's instructions was, for me, was to look for a green candle because we had a 10-minute uptrend coming in from Friday's close, was to look for a 10-minute green candle at the opening. We didn't get one, but we got consolidation. Look, after 5 or 6 candles, 10-minute candles, if they're not giving up this area, that means they want this area. Typically, most of the time, 90% of the time, if after 6 candles they don't go back down and test the lows, there's a chance they really want this area. And watching them hold this higher ground, for those of you that exercise, that's like planking for 6 hours straight right there. Okay? It's like holding a plank for 6 hours. That's a long time, all right? But anyways, you can see price holding the higher ground. Again, I don't know how to say it, but I'll say it again. Whenever price moves up and holds that higher ground, that's extremely bullish. All right, and that gave me the courage to buy the calls. Okay, this is an all-time high right there. Okay, see this red candle? That's an all-time high. All right, it doesn't get any more bullish than all-time high. And price is holding the higher ground, well, they want to go higher. So it's just a matter of time until they deplete the inventory up there and they're ready to go higher. So here we got another 10-minute uptrend coming into the close. My instructions for myself are going to be the same as yesterday, which is look for the green candle and look for price to continue with that 10-minute uptrend into the close tomorrow. All right, for today. For today. Again, I'll be looking for the 10-minute uptrend to continue. We'll see what happens. All right, on the 2-hour chart. And let me take that off. Try this. All right, 2-hour chart. Still got a 2-hour uptrend. All right, so we got a 2-hour uptrend. And let's take a look at the daily chart. Oh yes, higher low, higher high. Hey, let's just say it. New all-time high. All right, it doesn't get any more bullish than that. All right, I don't even see any signs of bears anywhere. Look at the tail on this candle. All right, you see more tail than body and wick. That's bullish control right there. Okay, so I don't see any bears yet. I still think we're going up maybe higher than 620 maybe this morning or this afternoon. We'll see. All right, but there's a daily chart. Again, look at the candle. A lot more tail than body and wick. Love that. Hopefully they hold the higher ground up there. Again, I'm looking for a 10-minute candle this morning. All right, I just don't want any. I don't want any spinning tops. I don't want any little dojis. I don't want a red candle because that's going to show I'm interested in playing a 10-minute uptrend. If I pick a red candle, that's bearish control, right? So I don't want a 10-minute bearish candle. All right, so I want a green candle. But I don't want a candle that's got way more wick than body and tail, okay? If it's got way more wick up top, that's showing me bearish control, like this. See, it's got more wick than body and tail. See, more wick than body and tail. I don't want those candles. All right? I want a nice green candle. I just don't want a spinning top because that tells me bears and bulls kind of agree on price. I don't want a doji candle because that shows me bulls and bears agree on price and I got no edge on that candle. I don't want a red candle because I'm trading a 10-minute uptrend. All right, and I don't want to be buying into weakness if the bears have control of that candle. So I'm looking for a green candle. Again, it's the same instructions as I had yesterday, which was the same candle actually, and a continuation of the 10-minute uptrend. That's what I'm looking for this morning. Okay, a little big gap down this morning. Big clue yesterday, notice, gap up, and it wasn't far away. Look how far we were away from gap. All right, that's not far at all. All right, and look, and the bears still couldn't fill this little gap right here. I mean, all they had to do was take 2 steps. They still couldn't fill the gap. That shows me bullish strength in this bullish market. Okay, that's a huge clue right there. Looking at that, I think we go higher again today. I do. I think we set another new all-time high later today. I don't know when. We're not really moving down, but we are moving over to the right. Okay, so there's 10-minute chart of SPY. You know what candle I want this morning. You can see we got a 2-hour uptrend. You can see we got a daily uptrend. Look at the 3 EMAs on top of the 8. Hey, this market is bullish until it's not. As long as it stays over the 17, we're bullish. All right? In my eyes, we're bullish. Staying over that 17 EMA. Can we pull back to minor support, which would be the top of the last consolidation, which would be right on top of this? Yes. And if we J-hook out of there, we could see, again, another higher high. I still think we're going up to 650. I really do. We'll see what happens. If we look at price action and we look at Wall Street buying the dip, let me show you what that looks like when Wall Street buys the dip. See, this is the dip, and obviously Wall Street bought the dip, and they usually like two two rewards for one risk unit. So this would be the risk is buying the dip. And one reward would take us up to 650. I'd be tickled if we just got 650, really. That would be awesome, all right? We're already knocking on the door of 620, all right? Now, if they get two rewards like they typically like, they're just like you and me. They like two rewards for each risk unit. That's going to take them up to 730, 735, 738. And I'm being real conservative. I'm not even including all of this consolidation near the highs. Okay, you can see what I'm picking up for a risk unit. All right, usually a risk unit is like from here down to here, not even including part of that tail down there. This is a really conservative risk reward unit right through here. So we'll see. I think this is possible. Usually what happens on the south side will oftentimes manifest on the north side. So keep an eye on this. I got to tell you, we're still in an uptrend, still looking good. Market's on fire. There's a lot of stuff in the pipeline, let me just say, that could get us to 650, even 700, all right? Talking about maybe some trade deals get signed. Maybe Ukraine, Russia stop killing each other. Big, beautiful bill gets signed. Rate cuts. All right. We have a lot of good news that could come out in the pipeline that could get us to 650, 700. All right. Everything is a lot in uptrends. All right. You got all of the Fab Five are in uptrends. Big cap stocks, mega cap, FNGU. All right. New all-time high. Okay, it just doesn't get any better than that. Big mega caps, all right? And you know wherever these move, they jerk the market with them. All right, let's take a look at XLK. Look at that, new all-time high on technology. Technology is always leading the rallies. And look at this. Look at tech ripping to new highs. Okay, SMH. Challenging the prior all-time high. Look at this. There's the all-time high. SMH. So we got a really bullish market here. Everything's looking great. And we got a lot of stuff in the pipeline. A lot of potential news that can get us to 650. So I'm just saying that's my hope that we get there. We'll see what happens, all right? Things are looking good so far. All right, let's go back to SPY. All right, let's pick up the game plan, and we'll take a look at it on the 10-minute chart. Let me drag this over here. SPY pivot again, 616.10. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Red erases green entry underneath 614.85. Green erases red entry over 618.30. I like 2 days till expiration Thursday option. And I say that because we have a short week this week. Friday we're off due to the 4th of July. I think even Thursday is a half day. So I like 2 days till expiration Thursday options. I like them on the multiple of 5. So I like a strike that's on the multiple of 5. And I'm talking about like 620, 615, 610, 605. You get the idea. All right. Also like 10 days till expiration Friday options. All right. And I say Friday because it's a lot of open interest on Friday. I only picked Thursday this week because Friday we're closed. Okay. So I like Friday options 10 days out. All right. And then I like, again, on the multiple of 5. You'll find more open interest on the multiple of 5. And I like them $5 to $15 out of the money, all right? Because they tend to offer less risk, but with less risk comes less performance. Hey, look, if you want the best performing option, all right, and you want to get penny for penny performance with your uptrends, all right? It's most all the time, it's going to be the 0 DTE in the money option. All right. So if you're buying calls and price is at 616, all right, the in the money calls are going to be the 615 calls, the 614 calls, the 613 calls. Now, they're going to cost you more because they're giving you that penny for penny performance. All right. Now, the $5 to $15 out of the money are not going to cost you as much. All right. And you're not going to get the penny for penny performance that you would out of an in the money option. All right. Just saying, it's up to you. You know, you're the buyer. It's your choice. Okay. You have to decide what's best for you. Again, if you want that penny for performance, again, it's usually going to be that 0 DTE in the money option. All right, you'll get a lot of performance out of that with those uptrends. Now I like a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP. All right, that's my preferred setup. And right now we have the unique situation where we have 10-minute uptrends over VWAP occasionally, okay, that are also inside of 2-hour uptrends. And get this, and the 2-hour uptrends and the 10-minute uptrends are inside of a daily uptrend, that's inside of a weekly uptrend, that's inside of a monthly uptrend, and all of that is over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, which is this pink line right here, all right? And that to me is the best setup ever, all right? Is those 10-minute uptrends. They're going to go further. You're going to have a higher win rate. They're going to last longer. Is those 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, inside 2-hour uptrends, inside daily uptrends, inside weekly uptrends, inside of a monthly uptrend. I mean, all of that stacked together over the all-time high anchored VWAP. For me, it doesn't get any better than that, all right? That's the ultimate stack, all right, to have that going on, all right? And, of course, we're getting that right now, and what are we making? We're making new all-time highs. That's what the market's doing. It's making new all-time highs because the conditions are perfect. You hear me? The conditions are perfect. All right? And it doesn't get any more perfect than seeing price action move up and hold the higher ground. Okay? That's bullish. Like I said, for those of you that exercise, that's like holding a plank for 3-4 hours, okay? It's incredible to do that, okay? Takes a tremendous amount of energy. That means the bulls are in charge. The bulls are in control, okay? Now they may give up pockets of time to the bears on pullbacks, but just look at those. Don't look at those as like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, okay? Look at those as opportunities to load up on some of your longer term positions. So for me, I currently have, I'm going to take that off, all right? I currently have some longer term positions, okay? I've got some 45 days till expiration calls. I've got some 30 days till expiration calls. I've got some 24s, some 17s, some 2s. I actually had some 11s last night, but I stripped the profit out of those, and I'll be looking to reload them at a lower price this morning, okay? And I've got some zeros, all right? So this is the time, if you believe like I believe, that there's still more upside and there's lots of good news in the pipeline to come out. For me, I really think we're going to get to 650. I really do. I don't know. All right, don't quote me on it, but I feel like we could get there. I don't know if we'll get there. All right, but things are looking good so far. And I want to be prepared for that. All right. So in that, because I want to be prepared, I've got some 45-day till expiration, some 30-day till expiration. And when the market gives me a pullback, yes, I add a couple more contracts to it. Bring my cost basis down. All right. Every time, if the market gives me that pullback, I will definitely load up with some more. All right. If the market's going to give me the pullback so that my cost basis is lower when we get there. All right. So that's how I'm trading right now. All right. So there's Jim asked a question here. In your opinion, was that move at the close yesterday more a function of the release of energy built up from the? Yes, that was part of it. Yes. I think at the end of the day, it wasn't there wasn't a big enough move for a short squeeze. I think it was just more or less energy built up from planking all day, bullish over to the right. All right, that takes an incredible amount of energy to stay bullish like that all day long, like that. Yeah. As my opinion, I don't know what happened. I mean, I don't have the inside track, but for me, that was incredibly bullish to hold that plank for that amount of time. All right, hold that higher ground up there. So there's SPY. There's a game plan. I gave you the backdrop on my positioning and where I feel like we're going. Starting to lose a little voice right now. Let's go with QQQ. Let's get through this. Starting to get a sniffle. All right, now they do this to me all the time. I don't know why. The red one always moves. I don't know why. All right, the others all stay the same, but the red one moves every morning. The red one is moved. All right, QQQ pivot. 550, 60. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Bullish. Green erases red entry over 552. Bearish. Red erases green entry under 549.20. Okay? You can see we're under 549.20 now. All right? Again, on QQQ, I like the same options. 2 days till expiration Thursday options and 10 days till expiration Friday options. Again, on the multiples of 5. So you can see 550, 555, 560, 545. You get the idea, okay? All right? Again, just like SPY, I like 10-minute uptrends over VWAP, and I like 10-minute downtrends under. They moved it again. Under VWAP, okay? So I don't need a red erases green entry. If we have a 10-minute downtrend, all right, that happens to be under VWAP, and we're passing through the pivot, okay, I have no problem picking up that 10-minute downtrend there. All right, if we have a 10-minute uptrend that originates down here, okay, and we don't have the green erases red entry, but we have a 10-minute uptrend over VWAP, I have no trouble playing that 10-minute uptrend over VWAP once it passes through the pivot. All right, or if it breaks the rubber band candle. Either one, break a rubber band candle or pass through the pivot. Either one works for me on whichever direction we're going. Again, under VWAP, I like to play that short. Over VWAP, breaking the rubber band candle to the upside, I like to play that long. So there's QQQ. All right, let's look at this on the daily chart, okay? Again, QQQ. Fantastic, all right? New all-time high, okay? Traders, it doesn't get any better than that. New all-time high, okay? I can't say anything more bullish than new all-time high. It just doesn't get any better than that, okay? So definitely in an uptrend because it's making a new all-time high. It's over the prior all-time high in VWAP, obviously, because it made a new all-time high, all right? We're moving up. We're breaking out of the consolidation we just did, all right? Again, we had, like I said, consolidation over prior consolidation, and now we're getting the breakout. If you look at the SPY map, okay, here's our SPY map. This is doing exactly what we mapped out. Okay, what did we expect? Consolidation until we get some trade deals. All right, consolidation until we get some good news, some rate cuts, and some trade deals. And you can see there's the price action. Let's get the arrows out. You can see we had the pullback to 605, and now we've been ripping all the way up towards 620. We're almost there. Okay, I think we even go. I think we go through it. Okay, the idea that we didn't go tag it yesterday makes me feel like the next time we get up there, we're going to go through it. That's what it makes me feel like. All right, but that's where we are right now with the SPY map. None of this really counts right here. I can get the gray out. That should probably be blacked out. Okay, so you can take that and move that over that. Okay, so there's where we are. All right, it's looking fantastic. Okay, we're heading up to 620. All right, might have a pullback today. Don't look at that as negative. Look at that as possible opportunity. Okay, opportunity, when they give you these pullbacks, gives you the opportunity to look for the turnaround, look for those 3-minute, 5-minute turnaround uptrends to load up on some of your longer term positions. All right, so there's our map. Again, we projected consolidation, and then we projected more consolidation over prior consolidation. And who knows, all right, we may get more consolidation on top of prior consolidation before we move up to 650. All right, it's a possibility. We'll see how things play out. Okay, I would expect it. All right, if we need more time while we're waiting for the beneficial data to come in, we'll see what happens. So there's our SPY map. I'm going to take that off now, and we're going to go see some of the other indexes. Kind of falling behind here in my schedule. Anyways, here's QQQ, new all-time high. FNGU. All right, you can see the air, okay, over here. You can see the touch over here. New all-time high, okay, right there. See the air between the crosshairs, all right, and the high over here. New all-time high for FNGU. Again, doesn't get any better than that, all right? It's an uptrend. It's working. Everything's looking fantastic. Let's see if I can get this to hold. If I go too far, it comes off. All right, so FNGU, new all-time highs. Okay, doesn't get any better. Diamond Dow. Okay, Diamond Dow, not a new all-time high, but look at this. That's a new rally high. Okay, remember we came from down here. This is where we came from. We've been making higher lows and higher highs. No, we didn't get a new all-time high. Not yet, okay? But look at price move up, hold the higher ground in that upper third. That's bullish. And hence, you can see them hold the plank for 2 months or 1.5 months, and now you're getting the breakout. And that's the benefits of exercising or holding the higher ground is the breakout. Okay, so now we're up in quadrant 4. You all know quadrant 4 is bullish as long as we're moving up. Price action over the over the all-time high anchored VWAP. New rally high for Diamond Dow. Okay, that's bullish up there. Okay, over the downtrend line, we can take that out of there. We don't need that anymore. Making higher lows, and of course you can see new rally high, higher highs. That's an uptrend, that's bullish. All right, so Diamond Dow looking fantastic. Okay, IWM put in an inside day, but let's look at what's going on here. Okay, let me get my my drawing tools, get the box, because I like to box off consolidation. Okay, you got consolidation over prior consolidation. Okay, that's a bullish environment. Okay, we did not get new rally highs yesterday. Instead, we've got an inside day. We are up over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That is bullish. we are not far from breaking into the upper third. Okay, that would be this area up here. Okay, if we break into the upper third, that's going to be bullish up there. Okay, right now we've got a situation where price went down, all right, and they gave it up. That's just neutral, all right? Now, if they give it up and more, all right, that's bullish, all right? And we're also setting up right now, as you can see, consolidation over prior consolidation. That's bullish. Over the all-time high anchored VWAP. That's bullish. Let's take a look at that inside day candle. I'm going to zoom in here. All right. Look at higher low. No, excuse me. Lower high, higher low. Closing over a bullish trap. Hey, that's bullish if you don't know that. Okay. Over the rising 17 or the hooking 17. That's bullish in case you don't know that. And moving up over the all-time high anchored VWAP is also bullish. Okay. So we're knocking on the door of the upper third there. See, we just got this resistance to move through right here. All right, so it may take another week to get through. That's about 2 months of consolidation right there. Look at that. I mean, that starts from December 18th, and that lasts till, oh gosh, look at that, February 20th. All right, so that's 2 months right there. We're not going to get through that in 1 4-hour candle. It's going to take a little time to grind away at that overhead supply. All right? But I think they can do it. They're not giving up. Obviously, if they were ready to give up, they'd run back down and test the lows to see if they're going to hold. Instead, they're interested in staying up here and grinding away at overhead supply. That is a bullish outlook. Okay, so there's IWM. Let's take a look at our technicals. Okay, so that's bullish. Technicals, we spent the day yesterday in the buyer's chop zone. excuse me. In the buyer's chop zone, we spent the day, and then we made an appearance in the buy zone yesterday. We closed the day before in the overbought, and the bears threw us out, and we wound up camping out inside the buyer's chop zone, only to make an appearance at the end of the day in the buy zone. I don't like the lower low, all right? And I don't like the lower high. There's the high, and there's the lower high. Okay, I don't like that, but let's face it, anywhere up in the buy or in the overbought zone is very bullish. So there's T21.22, T21.23. Look at this. Okay, a gap up, and the bears never filled the gap. I mean, all they had to do was cross the road, all right, to fill the gap. That's it. Okay, and they couldn't do it. That's extremely bullish right there, okay? So wherever dip happens this morning, I'm not going to be surprised to see it get completely bought up. I'm just saying, all right? If we dip this morning, okay, I'm not going to be surprised to see it get bought up in SPY or whatever, all right? That's bullish. Okay, you can see green almost from the beginning of the day to the end of the day. Looked like they had one Tom Collins lunch right there. See the red candle, all right? And then they came back from lunch and resumed the buying program. Okay, so there's T21.23. Let's take a look at the 3-bar chart. 3 more green candle bars. Look at the air starting to open up in here between the rising 17 and the price action. That's fantastic. All right, that's bullish when the air starts to open up wider and wider. All right, we're up over a prior all-time high. That's a prior all-time high. Okay, the all-time high is way up here. If we get over this right here, we will negate the daily downtrend. Okay, we're in a daily downtrend on T21.23. But hey, let's face it, price is not moving down. It's been moving up for months, for a couple months now. Okay, so you got the higher, you got a low, we got a higher low. Okay, you got a high, we're making higher highs. That's an uptrend. T21.23 is bullish. Anytime you're up over the 200 SMA and moving up, that's bullish. Okay, T2123 over that 200 SMA there on the 3-bar chart. Same thing on the 15-minute chart. Again, you're making lows, all right? You're making higher lows. You're making highs, you're making higher highs. That's an uptrend. Over that 200 SMA, that's bullish. Again, failed to fill the gap yesterday, and all they had to do was walk across the street. Okay, they could have tripped and walked across the street. Okay, that's how easy it was, but they still couldn't get that done. All right, so there's T2123. We're bullish. All right, everything points to bullish right now. Okay, so we may get one day, we may get 2 days pullback. I gotta say, I would not be surprised even if we got a 1 day, 2 day, half day pullback to see the bulls come back in and buy it up. All right, FNGU. All right, look at price structure again. Gaps up. Bears failed to fill the gap yesterday. Again, green from the beginning of the day to the end of the day right here. Okay, again, one Tom Collins lunch right there, and you can see the buying program resumes. All right, again, all they had to do was flip and trip, and they could have got gap filled, but they couldn't do it. All right, that's bullish. All right, so here's price action holding the higher ground. That's bullish. Up over the rising 200 SMA. Hey, that's bullish. Again, we made new all-time highs. Okay, doesn't get any better than that. Over the prior all-time high anchored VWAP, that's a pink line over the uptrend line. Everything's looking good. FNGU. All right, let's take a look at a few sectors. First sector, XLE. Okay, here's our energy sector. Okay, okay, they go up and they give it up. Okay, so that's neutral, right? You see, they go up and they give it up. All right, they're making higher lows and they're making higher highs. Okay, but they go up and they give it up. So that's just neutral. You can see price action yesterday, lower high, lower low. Under the trap, that's bearish. Under the 17, that's also bearish. We're over up downtrend line 1, but we're under downtrend line 2. So that's neutral right there. Okay, so price action, again, under that bearish trap is neutral. Now look at the structure. They went up, they held the higher ground, they couldn't get a breakout. Guess what? They're back. All right, now they're holding the lower ground. All right, so again, we're just neutral through here on XLE. Notice we're not in the lower third, we're not in the upper third. So we're just neutral right now, XLE. It needs to cook a little bit longer to get bullish, okay? Notice every time they got up into quadrant 4, they give it up, give it up, give it up. See how many times they've been up in quadrant 4 and failed to hold the higher ground. They go up and they just give it up, all right? Eventually, they're going to get up there and hold, okay? They're just not ready yet. That's energy sector. Let's take a look at USO. Again, up in quadrant 4 and they give it up. See how many times they've been up there and they give it up. All right, price action, just not ready yet, all right? We're bullish in fact that we've got higher lows and higher highs. That's fantastic. But let's face it, we went up and we gave a good part of that up, all right? At least all of the bullish side, all right? So we're neutral right here. Not in the upper third, not in the lower third, just neutral. We're up over this 3-year high anchored VWAP, all right? So again, just neutral right through here, okay? They went down and they gave it up. And more, they were bullish, but then they gave that up, so they're back to neutral again. So there's USO. Still in an uptrend. They haven't made a lower low, all right? But just neutral through here. Again, not in the upper third, not in the lower third. Let's take a look at UNG. UNG's in a downtrend. Here's a low. Look at this. They made a lower low. Notice UNG is in the lower third. All right, so that's bearish. They're under the uptrend line. That's bearish. They're closing candles under the bearish trap. That's bearish. And underneath the 17 EMA, the flat 17, also bearish, okay? So UNG showing a head and shoulders pattern. This being the head, that be the right shoulder, this be the left shoulder. Okay, so you can see that's bearish in that lower third area. UNG in a downtrend because they made a lower low. There's the low, made a lower low. That puts them in a downtrend. All right, let's take a look at GLD, precious metals. Okay, gold got a low right here. They made a lower low, so they're in a downtrend. But let's face it, they've been up in quadrant 4 and holding this area for a while. That's bullish. Again, you're up here holding the plank, all right? That takes an incredible amount of energy. That's bullish. We're in a downtrend, but they can negate this downtrend. All they got to do is make a higher high. Okay, so they just got to take out that high right there. Okay, they're currently in a downtrend, but let's face it, they're not moving down. Again, they're back up again today. Yesterday, higher low, higher high. Closing inside the bearish trap, that's bearish. Closing under the 17, that's bearish. Look where they are now. They're over the trap and over the 17 and over the the all-time high anchored VWAP. That is all bullish right now. Okay, in the pre-market, that's bullish. Again, up in quadrant 4, that's bullish. Currently showing an inverted head and shoulders. That being the head, left shoulder. This would be the right shoulder. Okay, if all right, price decapitates the head right here. Look for price to come back to the uptrend line. All the way back here, 250, 260. All right, so there's gold. That's bullish up there, but in a downtrend and not moving down. All right, let's take a look at silver. Silver holding the higher ground, obviously. Okay, you know I love that kind of price structure. Inside day, I'm just going to call it. Lower high, higher low, closing under a bearish trap, but over the 17, all right? Over this is a 12-year high anchored VWAP right there. Okay, over that 12-year high anchored VWAP, that's a 12-year high right there on silver, holding the higher ground up in quadrant 4. That's bullish up there. Let's take a look at SMH. We looked at these earlier. You can see SMH, top of quadrant 4, new rally high, that's bullish. XLK, new all-time high, can't say anything more. That's bullish if you don't know that, new all-time high. XLF, you can see new rally high, that's bullish. Keep an eye on those financials. They're going to be reporting, I think, in a week or two. Look at this price structure move up, hold the higher ground. Hey, look, when price and the indexes make new all-time highs, if you're in investment banking and you're not making money, all right, there's a problem, okay? And I would expect the outlook for all of the financials, especially with the indices making new all-time highs. It's like one supports the other, all right? This is looking fantastic. Moving up, holding the higher ground, making a new rally high. Doesn't get much better than that than making a new all-time high. Okay, XLF, bullish. All right, look for these, maybe even more. I think they probably go even further than this. I think they make a new all-time high before leaving this area. All right, XLF, unless there's some underlying mysterious thing that we didn't know about. Okay, so there's XLF, bullish. All right, let's take a look at IYT. Then hit the economic package. IYT, new rally high for IYT. Okay, up over in the upper third, that's bullish. Over the trap, bullish. Over the 17, bullish. Okay, so now you got semiconductors, you got technology, you got financials. All right, now we got the transports. Everything's bullish. All right, all we need is some good news, and there's lots of it in the pipeline that could manifest. All right, and we could be seeing really nice rips to the upside in these indexes. Okay, things are looking fantastic. Okay, so this is transports. That's bullish. Uptrend, again, making higher lows and higher highs. That's an uptrend. Over that all-time high and moving up, all right, that's bullish. Take a look at the economic package here, okay? And come on up. All right. Dollar in a downtrend, okay? Dollar in a downtrend. Let me just say this. For the consumer, that sucks, okay? Because your money doesn't go as far, all right? A weak dollar sucks for the consumer. But for the investor, all right, for the investor, this opens up more global markets, all right? Because a weak dollar means foreign countries can convert their currency to ours, and it doesn't cost them as much as when we have a strong dollar. All right, so it makes our goods and services more competitive. All right, so that helps generate higher GDP. All right, so weak dollar is fantastic. And let's look at these last 5-6 days. These are red candles, not even interrupted by a green candle. That's a sharp move to the downside right there. So falling dollars, fantastic for investors, all right? Because that just opens up new global markets, all right? You can see we're in a downtrend, making lower highs and lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, all right? That's a downtrend. And you can see we got caught underneath this, what was major support was up over this, okay? That was major support, all right? And we broke major support, and now we're bear flagged, and after this is a breakout from the bear flag to the downside. So you notice price structure came down and then went over to the right. See, they tested that minor resistance and they failed to get on top and hold. And now you can see they resumed the bear flag, and now they're to the downside, breaking to the downside right there. All right, so pre-market Tuesday, 7:15, not the 11th, for bank earnings. Okay, so thanks. On the 15th, we're going to get some news from the financial markets as far as earnings go. Thanks for sharing that, Jim. All right, so there's the dollar in a downtrend. Max Payne for today. Not sure if they're going to manifest it or not. They can't find it. All right, so let's look at this one. They're saying Max Payne for July 1st, 610, 1.5 puts to each call that expires today. On the economic calendar, Mr. Powell's going to speak this morning. I'm gonna say, okay, doesn't matter what the president says. The guy's got a tough job, okay? He can't cut rates, all right, until they figure out what they're going to do with the tariffs, all right? Really, he can't, all right? Once they figure out what they're going to do with tariffs, because tariffs are nothing but artificial inflation, all right? So, again, and the data creeped up a little bit, so I wouldn't expect anything new coming from his lips today at 9:30, all right? So he speaks today, but again, and he talked about it last month, rate cut is probably going to be off the table for another 30 days till we get more data. PMI manufacturing final comes out at 9:45 this morning. ISM manufacturing index, 10 o'clock. Composite spending, 10 o'clock. Don't forget, we only have a 4-day week this week, and we already been through one, so there's only a few days left. Friday, we're closed. JOLTS comes out at 10. Construction spending at 10. Tomorrow, motor vehicle, sales probably about 6 in the morning. MBA mortgage applications at 7. Challenger job cut report, 7:30. ADP employment report, 8:15. Petroleum report at 10:30, okay? This is the main event this week, is the employment situation at 8:30. Unless, of course, we get news on trade deals, all right, or peace, either one, okay? This is the main event. It's the employment situation at 8:30 on Thursday, okay? International trade goods, 8:30 as well. Jobless claims, 8:30. PMI composite final, 9:45. Factory orders at 10. ISM services at 10. And a gas report at 10:30, which normally comes on Friday, okay? But don't forget, Friday we're closed in observance of Independence Day right there, okay? Or the big beautiful bill, all right? Either one. Some of those would bring some. There's more pipeline good news possibility. All right, that's it for me. All right. It's been about an hour. Thank you for sticking with me through all of that. Let me get this rendered, and I will open up the markets with you right here in about 30 minutes. All right. Thank you, everybody.